Good morning, Robert. Welcome back. It felt like I was just talking to you yesterday.
That's right. We were.
Literally, right? And what did we predict? We predicted that the Rams would win,
Yes.
and it did. So, and up to the last minute, I have to say, I didn't think they could pull it off, only because how could they? And yet, Matthew Stafford once again pulls it out in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So impressive. Well, for Rams fans and for the Bengals, maybe next time.
Right. Very good. So
And happy
congratulations
Valentine's
to
Day.
all the LA fans for that.
Oh yeah, and all the AFC fans who are living
Oh yeah.
vicariously through the quarterback,
That's right. That's
like
right.
our good friend Dwayne Davis, D Nice. And if you missed an amazing review by Robert
Hmm.
and D Nice yesterday, we talked about the 100-inch TVs. We went through the calibration of the Sony X92J and the Samsung QN98 98-inch, comparing them head to head, their calibrated numbers, and I thought it was pretty crazy
Hmm.
how the Samsung Q98 98-inch out of the box is like, wait, how did this get so good? So either what you were saying on this
Yeah.
one panel lottery that you won, or maybe you pay a little extra, 15,000, you get a bit more QC, which tells me that Samsung could do it if they wanted to and
Mhm.
charge you an extra few thousand. But hey, those are the breaks, right? But we're not going to tell you who either Dwayne or Robert preferred, or which TV they preferred. Catch that live stream. It's
Yes.
a bit long, but it's time stamped, so have fun with that. But enough of that old technology, right? That's mini LED, that's fluorescent. Forget OLED, that's old technology. Today, we are talking about the A95K QD OLED. This is such an exciting TV for me. And now, it's always been exciting, but I put out videos earlier in the year saying it's not for you guys because it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
I honestly thought it would be at best 5,000 for the 55-inch and 6,000 for the 65-inch at best. And then my number kept on creeping up because I'm reading about the yields. Samsung
Hmm.
Display couldn't do better than 30% yield,
That's right.
and all new tooling and all new manufacturing. All of that cost normally is they try to amortize it in the first few years, which raises the price. Remember, OLED TVs when they came out, over $10,000 for what, a
Yeah.
55-inch, and it took 10 years for it to come down to where it is today. I believe that QD OLED is very similar because, well, let's go through kind of like the QD OLED uh, that's out there. So just out of the way, real quick, if you guys are just joining us, the reason we have Robert Zone, the owner of Valley Electronics, a mom and pop retailer, they are one of the authorized dealers for the Sony A95K Master Series OLED. It takes over for the A90J in the 55-inch and 65-inch size. So last year, Master Series 4K TV were the A90J OLEDs. This year, it will be the A95K.
Right.
And so, if you guys are interested in pre ordering, Robert probably has the largest, possibly, allocation of these TVs. So, if you check around Best Buy, whatever, he will match their prices and
Mhm.
offer calibration and then quality control and send it out. But more importantly, I believe that this TV model specifically will run out because of the limited volume that Samsung Display is producing these. That's why I thought it would be much more expensive.
Mhm.
This is not like LG's OLED. I mean, they're producing in the millions and millions. Samsung Display is not making a million of these this year. And if all the early impressions are to be believed, which I have no doubt they are awesome, other makers were going to come on board. Panasonic, LG
Sure.
itself, possibly, because
Yes.
if Sony makes a killing on this, everyone's going to follow suit. Were you guys going to get an early look at the Dell QD OLED? That thing's only what, 1,500, 1,300 for a 35, 32-inch, something like that, right? That, I mean, people are shocked at how cheap that is. So I think Samsung Display is selling us at a loss, clearly, but hey, we're going to benefit from that. And so, just real quick for those wondering, wait, should I get an A90J, which is discounted A95K? This is comparing the two models, the 2021 and the
Hmm.
2022, the
That's right.
sizes, their technology, and their launch price. So, obviously, the
Right.
2021 A90J is a little bit cheaper now, but not that much. Okay, the $8,000 83-inch is significantly lower, but they're 65 and 55-inch, right? And so you go to 2022, and this is my shock. Now, the prices are not officially confirmed. So before we get into how we got to this price, I have to tell everyone that Robert cannot confirm or deny because as a retailer, this is something that he has definitely been embargoed against. So rather than get Robert in trouble, what I can say is this. Look at all the outlets, right? The reason we got to the 3,000, 4,000, if you watched my community post, it's very clear. Sony has a one-to-one rewards offer on whatever TVs they have, right? Whatever the MSRP is, that's their reward. So if they're selling something for $1,000, $2,000, you get 1,000, 2,000 rewards, and that's consistent across their entire TV lineup. And if any of you are in corporate accounting, you know they hate inconsistency. You don't want to put reward point that's one-to-one on one product, and then a couple of SKUs later, for this one, let's make it 1.2, 1.5. No, the rewards are the rewards. It's already hard enough. So based on the consistency of rewards points of Sony, and this is their own leak, so it's on them. This is what we think the price is, and we're going to run with it. And Robert is taking reservations, but not charging. Right, Robert? So can you tell us a little bit
That's
about
correct.
what your game plan is for this? Because there's a lot of interest now that the price is literally the price of the A90J if you adjust for inflation.
Yeah. That's correct. Thank you so much. So we just started accepting reservations. We call it our priority list. And there's no obligation for you to buy, but we're obligated to you to use that date as the pecking order of who's going to get the first allocations of these. And no obligation of any kind, no deposit, no money is paid until we're ready to ship and you say, yes, you want it. But if you want to be included in the first production run of these, you can reserve one by just emailing us through our website or directly at sales@valueelectronics.com. Also, look at our web page on the A95K because there's a lot of proprietary, very interesting information on that, some of which we can review now if you'd like to go over some of
Oh,
the.
yeah.
This is a whole different class of TV.
Yeah.
It
So
is
let
new
me
display technology.
Yes, let's go over the spec sheet that you've been given
Yeah,
permission to
that's correct.
share on
That's
that
correct.
PDF. So this is Sony's PDF spec sheet, and Robert's going to share with us a few items that may or may not be
Yeah,
on that sheet, right? So
yeah,
let me pull it up real quick here, and there we are. Is that it? Yes, here we
yeah.
go.
I will give you the four big advancements over the king of TV, the A90J, on the A95K. Here's what we are expecting from the technology advancement. QD-OLED will be driven by Sony's very famous XR Triluminous Max. So that's the quantum dot technology. What's going to happen is you're going to have better color accuracy, better color saturation, and better color volume. Because when you have a WRGB, we call that color by white, as the peak lumens gets higher, you're also polluting the red, green, and blue colors by adding the white subpixel. So that's kind of washing out the specular highlights and some of the detail.
And if I could jump in real quick, this
Yeah,
is why the Panasonic and the A90J, despite hitting super bright squares that are white, when you start
yes,
adding color over 900 nits, you're not going to see the color anymore. So
that's
they definitely look great with white squares, but in real color, every reviewer who's pushed any of these TVs with a heatsink can't get color above 900 nits. And the the QD OLED promises that this is not an issue because their color volume will exceed the limits of the current white-driven OLED.
That's correct. So we're going to have better color saturation, better color volume, better color accuracy. We're going to have a brighter panel as well. And Sony is going to put their heatsink technology on this to make it even brighter and give them the ability to cool the panel better. We're going to have actually even better off-angle performance with the QD OLED because of the way the layers are and how it spreads, how the quantum dots spread the light accurately, where a WRGB focuses the light more straight ahead. So we're going to have better off-axis viewing. We're going to have better color volume, better color fidelity, better color accuracy. and a bigger color palette as well.
And
Go
just
ahead.
real
I'm
quick,
sorry.
you mentioned off-axis viewing. So a lot of
Yes,
people are saying, "Hey, OLED, I thought it was already great off-axis." Many
it
people are
is.
sensitive to the pink tint
That's
that
right.
is more evident off-axis. Now, I don't see it
Right.
personally, but my
Yes.
local calibrator here, he can't stand OLED because he
Yeah.
sees that he's sensitive to pink. He goes, "The minute I get off-axis, even 10 degrees, I see the pink on just white, anything. I
Yes.
can't do it." And that is technically solved because it's not driven by the white OLED, right?
Yes. That's correct. The other advantages are there is a sort of newer generation of the XR processor, and there is a retuning of that processor, a reprogramming of it, which will improve contrast, it'll improve tone mapping, and it'll improve a little bit of the detail in the image. It's particularly important on the A95K, where we're going to have a bigger color space, a different way of generating the colors, a brighter display. So this new XR processor is tuned specifically for the quantum dot OLED panel. So minor things that we're going to have, and maybe they're not minor, we're going to have that really nice new premium sleek remote that's backlit and has all the hard buttons programmed in. We're going to have a brand new Bravia camera
Mhm.
built, not built in, but free, bundled free at no
Oh,
charge.
that you can plug in on top of the TV or
Yes.
whatnot, right? Oh,
Yeah.
and the remote, real quick, for many of you who are not familiar, they have the Find My Remote feature now,
Yes.
which the other remotes from other makers don't have it yet. I'm sure they'll catch up. So
Yes.
finally, I think that's great. It's like, where the heck's my remote, right? And so when you activate it, the remote starts to beep loudly. It's kind of
Yes.
similar to the Roku. I mean, the Roku remote has that right now with the Ultra Roku, but now the Sony remote has it, which is like, how long did it take for you guys to finally have it? They have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Other,
uh,
yeah, I'm sorry.
can I ask you real quick?
Yes,
Heatsink. Rumors are that the A95K has it. Some people
it
said it
does.
hasn't been confirmed. It does, right?
It does 100% for sure have
Okay.
it. Yes,
Okay.
it does. And it also has a new temperature distribution mapping program. So it'll very precisely calculate the heat in each little zone of the TV. And they'll be able to apply their heat sink distribution accordingly to cool the panel. So it'll be evenly, the temperature across the screen will be even. So there's not only increase in peak brightness, but there's an increase in the overall brightness. Full screen brightness will be significantly higher as well. So that's some of the advantages there. Let's see. There's also a difference in the way the light passes through a filter versus how it passes through a quantum dot, which is changing the frequency of the light waves to
Hmm.
to adjust the color. And the light is scattered in various directions, which is what is going to give us our better, more vivid look and also better off axis performance than going through a filter. So the filter fades the luminance and slightly drops the luminance a
Right.
little bit. So,
And for those who are a little confused, when what is this with a filter? The LG OLED that you guys know and love for the last several years or the last decade all require a color filter,
yes.
which is not the same as the quantum dot display or quantum dot OLED. The color filter does dilute the color comes out and it limits your color volume to a certain degree as well. Whereas on the quantum dot, instead of using a color filter, because I know they don't like to call it a color filter because it isn't, they call it a color
No,
converting layer. The
that's what it is.
quantum dots take the blue and convert that blue into whatever colors you need. So you're getting a more direct view RGB, so to speak. So the red and the green are the actual quantum dots, and then they let the blue through and they have a small little filter like thing for the blue, but you're getting direct red, green, and blue from the actual pixels or subpixels
Mhm.
themselves.
That's
Whereas on the LG, they call it WOLED, is they convert all that to white first. And it's that conversion that allows them to fight burn-in basically. So this
right.
is we have circumvented the burn-in issue by making all the OLED blue so they could then evenly burn in that same blue, but then
Mhm,
you're converting it with quantum dot. And the reason they haven't done this
mhm,
earlier is blue is very unstable. It took a
mhm.
while for the blue chemicals to get to this point to make
That's
it
right.
all blue. And it took a while for the quantum dots to get to this point because they are also very unstable. You have to encapsulate them and seal them from the open
Yes.
air world. They did it. And that's why it's supposed to be super expensive. And apparently it isn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Some more new things that are just to let everybody know some of the new things. I
Yes.
love the new stand. I had an opportunity to see the A95K in person,
Hmm.
and I got to tell you, the stand is beautiful. You can put the stand, the pedestal stand that's included with it, in front of the TV or in the back of the TV, based on what your application is. It's a really nice stand this year. I know it's a silly thing, but the TV sits flush to the countertop, so it doesn't take any extra space. And then you can raise it if you wanted to with a pedestal stand. But I do love the front or back, so you can position this to touch the wall if you wanted to, or offset off the wall. I also like something I've been bothering all the manufacturers about for many, many years, and that is changing the structure of the cabinet and all the components to be eco-friendly and recyclable. Uh,
Mm.
TVs are a big mess for the environment, and I'm an environmentalist, so I care a lot about that. And what they've done is they've changed the packaging completely, the ink in the packaging. They changed the composite that makes up the chassis and frame of it, so it's all original virgin plastic, recyclable, and that's a big upgrade in being friendly to the environment. Um, let's see, just talking about new things. We expect to get at launch variable refresh rate, automatic low latency mode, 4K at 120 hertz, a new auto tone mapping designed for the PS5 in particular with 4K HDR content, including Dolby Vision. So there's going to be a new interface for gaming to make this the gamer's choice display specifically for a PS5 when a
Mm.
PS5 is connected.
I heard about that. It's, I
Yeah.
guess, the XR
Yeah.
processor for the TV works directly with the
Yes.
PS5. It is a direct tone mapping. It is, I guess they maybe, I mean, we can call it source-based tone mapping to a certain degree, but it's specific to gaming on the PS5 and all TVs with an XR processor. That would include any
Yes.
2021 models as well. And I think that's something that's exciting. I think this is something that
It
you guys
really
have been
is.
You've been talking about it before. It was never officially recognized. Is there something special happening? And I think Sony is going to make it official now. So I can't wait to test that. That's pretty cool.
Yes. This is very, very big news for gamers. This will now be the gamer's first choice display, especially if you're connecting a PS5. They've upgraded the acoustic surface audio. It's now called Acoustic Audio Surface Plus. They've added two new subwoofers built in, so it's a true 2.2 channel system with dedicated left right, including tweeters and mid range and
Mhm.
subwoofers. The Google TV's had some new upgrades. It'll have Apple AirPlay and hands free, all the hands free things. You're going to have the Bravia camera included at no charge.
Oh, I forgot to ask. Is acoustic glass on this where the glass
Yes,
is also the speaker? Yes? Okay,
yes.
great. Because I've always loved that as a feature on the
No,
A90J and previous Master Series OLEDs.
that's correct. It'll also have speaker binding posts in the back. So if you want to use it as your center channel
Finally,
speaker,
yeah.
and it'll be magical connected to an HDA9. You'll be an audio and
Wait,
video.
wait. You mean the HTA9 is still out of stock?
Not stock. Yes, it is. Yeah,
Oh,
we're very
now that you mentioned it, are you getting it in stock anytime soon? Because a lot of people
yeah,
are still waiting for it to get in
right.
stock. Can they still reach out to you and get an allocation? Or
Yes,
when is
yes.
the next
But the
allocation
next
coming up?
the next good sized allocation that we can fill new orders that come in, and it's just reservations, no deposit, will
Mhm.
be early April. Sorry to say.
Early,
Early,
well, that actually is the same timing as the new A95K. So
yes,
I
it
might
is.
as well just reserve both.
Boy,
You
are
know
they
what?
paired well together. And I'm
That's
going to
right.
offer something which I haven't even told you about to your listeners and your members that'll give them a little benefit
Hmm.
for being a member and and a patron of yours. So I'll announce that whenever you're ready to say it.
Okay,
So
we'll do it at the end. Yeah, hold on. And we're going to have a package deal from Robert at the
yes,
end as a
yes,
reward because the reality is Robert is a friend. I buy so much of my stuff from him. And we're
yeah,
talking the Trinov piece that I'm finally
absolutely.
putting up. Robert finally redid my
Beautiful,
studio and just
beautiful.
everything because Robert has such a wide selection of things. So it's like a kid in a candy store. I go, Robert, I didn't know you carried this. It goes, yes, you didn't know. I'm like, ah, so my credit card company is happy. Wife isn't, but hey, you know what? This is what we do. So
Yeah,
thanks again, Robert, for carrying everything under the sun.
very
But go
good.
ahead. I'm just throwing
Very
you
good.
off course because sometimes you mention something. And if I don't jump in, I'm going to forget. So the HTA9 new orders, you have allocations available for April. And if
Yes,
you're pre-ordering the A95K, you might as well lock them both in if you're interested
yes,
in the HTA9. Joe and Tel did a great review on it. I think it's definitely accurate. I felt
yes,
the same thing. The conclusion really is if you're going for a sound bar, that's the way to go. If you're going for a dedicated system, of course that's better. I mean, come on,
yeah,
right? But it's plug and play. I just carried it around to my friend's house. I plug it in, and we're ready to go. And they're like, "Whoa, I got immersive without anything fiddly or finicky, right?" Soundbar just gives you that front, and it's loud. And the
yeah,
A7000 does that very well, but it doesn't give you that immersion. So
that's
there,
right.
you got to have your priorities. I love immersion. Yeah, it's not perfect for fidelity, but immersion for me and a large TV, I'm done. Okay, go ahead, Robert.
So just quickly to review, we're going to be retuning the upgraded XR cognitive processor. We're going to have a brighter QD OLED display with better color in many ways, and we're going to have upgraded audio as well. We're going to have the new XR Contrast Pro, which is a retuning and a reprogramming of the processor. We have the XR Triluminous Max. We have the XR new upscaling. We're going to have a wider, better viewing angle than even the current OLEDs. We're going to have 4K 120 with no tearing, variable refresh, automatic low latency. We're going to have a special tone mapping algorithm just for PS5 with a upgraded image quality there as well.
Oh, Robert, can I pause right there? Because I think there was some confusion about this tone mapping algorithm between the PS5 and the XR
Yes,
TVs. So it's not VRR. There's nothing happening special on the tearing and stuttering area, right? That's still an issue. So that kind of raises the question. We didn't address this. Do you have a VRR update for our viewers? Because we're just talking Sony 2021 TVs and 2022. What
right.
have you been told about the VRR feature on their TVs?
So I'll put another call in to one of my technical contacts at Sony and get back on here and post that because that was brought up last night as well on our
Mhm.
podcast. And I'm sorry I haven't done that yet. So let me
Okay.
get an up to date answer. However, it is planned that at launch, the new 2022 TVs will have VRR and ALLM already out of the box. So that's what's planned. And if that date holds true, then I would expect the firmware update for 2021 to be the same. And that's going to be, and it's also listed on our website. Each new 2022 OLED product and LCD LED product from Sony, I have exact dates on when we're going to open up to take orders where you can pay and get shipped. And I believe it's third week of April, but double check on the A95K. It's coming
Okay.
up really soon.
So let's stop right there because a lot of people are asking this release date, and I know things happen, but generally speaking, as a retailer, what are you preparing your customers for as far as a release date for the A95K?
Okay, I have that date, and I thought I had it on the web page, and I don't, so I'll redo that. And I could look that up, but it takes me a few seconds
Oh,
here.
no, no, look it up. In the
Yeah,
meantime, let me see if I can answer a couple of super chats. Yeah,
good.
take your time, my friend. So let's put this
Okay.
out. Okay. Hey, thanks, Sonic Blue, for that super chat. Do you know if motion, especially OLED stutter, is improved on QD OLED compared to WRGB OLED? So the issue with stutter is there's two types. One is OLED is just too fast, and that often creates that stuttering
That's
effect.
correct.
All OLEDs have it. if QD-OLED is to be an amazing gaming machine with the lowest latency possible, now you have a mutually exclusive issue. Because of that, you might have a stutter issue. So the question is, they have to include processing that makes it look smooth without the stutter. And in my opinion, Sony does a great job of that Cinemotion processing, right? Whether it translates to QD-OLED better remains to be seen. So this is why people are excited about the QD-OLED as a gaming machine. But the better it is at gaming and anti-ghosting, possibly the worst that stutter may appear. So we don't know yet. It's kind of theoretical. Everything that people have seen has not been run on 24p and then converted, and then the stutter, we haven't put it through its paces. So we'll definitely let you know once we get that TV and actually test it for stuttering with no processing, because a lot of you concerned about that. You hate soap opera, you hate stutter, which I do. I don't mind a little bit of soap to get rid of that, but some of you don't want either one. Can QD-OLED do better than WRGB OLED? That remains to be seen. Thanks for that great question. Okay, Robert, do you have a release date for us? What
I
do you got?
do. Looks like the week of April 14th,
Wow, that's exactly 2 months from now.
2 months from today.
2 months from today. So April, there's HTA9 allocations available for new orders and, of course, new orders of A95K. Do you know how many allocations you have, so that once that is filled, you can let me know as well? Because a lot of people, because the HTA9 last time, you sold it out, I think, before it even launched, or within a week of its launch.
Yes.
And you've been backed up ever since. So
Yeah.
uh, can you share what your allocation is, or can you share when it's end? Will you be able to let us know so I can post that?
I don't have an exact allocation yet, but I
Mhm.
expect it to be uh, optimistically, I expect it to be 100 of the 65-inch and about 60 of the 55-inch.
Okay, that's not a lot. And not
No,
anything on you. Just this is what I'm talking
it's not
about.
a lot.
This is what I expected from the Panasonic Pro display, actually, right? I was thinking, wow, we'd be lucky to get 100 Panasonics. So this is,
And that's at the very first launch. There will
yes.
be allocations every 2 weeks thereafter.
Oh, speaking of Panasonic, there were rumors that maybe Panasonic might dip their toes back in the USA. Since we're mentioned Panasonic, what are your efforts with Panasonic to bring their OLED TVs back to the USA?
I am actively working with them. It is extremely unlikely. It's 1 in a million that we'll have it for this year. But I'm a tenacious kind of person, and I don't give up. And I'm making some very compelling offers to them that makes it easy for them to have distribution in the U.S.
And
So no firm answer, but unlikely.
right. And of course, since you also carry LG G series, people want the 83-inch G2, which is probably the best 83-inch you're going to get out there today, because we feel that'll be equal to the A90J, if not maybe a touch
Yes.
better, because it has gaming. And it does not come on the QD-OLED. What is your release date for the G2? Any size, all sizes.
Um, I don't have an exact date from LG yet.
Okay.
Sony's been, more active with giving me dates, but I expect it to be the first week of April.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That allows people to compare the prices now. You have the
Yes.
G2 prices for the 55 and 65, and then you will have the A95K alleged prices at 3,000, 4,000. If you just joined us, Robert cannot confirm or deny, but we believe that this is the date based on Sony's own leak using their rewards point system. Some say maybe it was a mistake, like the VRR mistake way back when they accidentally pulled it from their website. So, but I don't think so. I think the rewards points are locked in. I'm sure accounting had a lot to do with locking that in. But we'll see how wrong we are. But almost everyone in media outlets are going to take this as the actual price until told otherwise by Sony. And Sony has been mum on this. They won't deny or
Mhm.
confirm, and they won't allow Robert to do it either.
That's
So
right.
take that as it is, guys. And a quick acknowledgement to our faithful viewers. TechMed, Rainer Richter, he's such a regular. We did it early so he could join and listen because he's in Europe. Thanks for coming by, my friend. He has the 85-inch Q900A, loves it. And it is, to me, still one of the best alternatives to OLED at that size. So Yes, he loves what Samsung did over there. And let's jump in. There's one more super chat here. I want to make sure I catch. I saw one and then if I missed it, let me know because it popped up and I may have just. Okay, so hopefully I'm caught up with all the super chats. Thank you, everyone. I think I saw someone over there. Let's make sure. Yes. Okay. Now, this is some for those that just joined us. I want to make sure you all get to look at. Yes, I agree. Sony does need to do better communication, but what can you do, right? Corporate speak. So for those of you wondering why I'm so excited about the A95K, let's just look at the prices. It is literally a couple $100 more. And when I say couple hundred, if you guys have seen the price of everything that's gone up, from video games to GPUs to PCs, this literally is nothing more than an inflationary revision for 2022 and for a completely next gen improvement. Because most improvements on OLED year to year is very minor, and a lot of it has to do with anti-burn-in. Oh, burn-in! I've got to mention
Oh,
that.
yes.
Let me go to kind of like the feature list for those who just joined us, why I'm excited about QD-OLED personally, and whether that affects you. You can decide and ask us, hey, I watch this content. Will it affect me? So QD-OLED is next-gen technology. For the first time, we're taking quantum dots and bring it into the front. It is a color converting layer. It does not use a color filter. This is a much more effective way of taking your high energy blue light and converting it to all the colors you need to. And the blue from the OLED is direct view, and the red and the green from the quantum dots takes that blue and converts it. So they're all direct view RGB subpixels. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty amazing. And this results in what? A wider color gamut. For the first time, you're going to get at 90% BT 2020, possibly more, maybe a little less, but that is so much higher than anything out there. Nothing, no LCD comes even close. What does that mean? It means that what you and I saw at the shootout, right? And we all saw the difference in the reference monitor. We saw faces have more color than any of the TVs out
Right.
there. Doesn't matter if it was the G1, doesn't matter if it's the A90J or the Samsung. Wait, why do they look slightly pale? The reference monitor has more color. But what's missing here? And it wasn't because it was super bright and they were washed out. This was just a regular scene in SDR. The Kingsmen in that room where all the people were standing, they all had color in their cheeks that the OLEDs did not. And I'm hoping to see this in the QD OLED. So I'm definitely going to do that head to head in that scene. So that's a wider color gamut. The greater color volume means that, like Classy mentioned earlier, a lot of them peak out at 400 nits. Above that, you start to lose color volume. This is not supposed to happen with the QD OLED. It's supposed to go a lot higher than that, which means in HDR content where you have color at 700 nits, you're going to see all that color. And maybe that's why you'll see a lot of scenes where, whoa, I thought that was just bright sunshine with just a little bit of yellow. There's a lot of yellow and orange in that bright scene, right? And this is for many of you gamers and people who watch sports. You hate ABL. The APL, the average picture level, will be brighter across the board, brighter than what current OLEDs can manage, but the specular highlights will even be brighter than that with color. So HDR content will benefit greatly. So many of you are saying, well, I watch a lot of SDR, Rec 709, then don't get the QD OLED because you're not pushing it for what it's intended to do, right? I want to watch sports on cable. Don't do it because cable sports, other than ABL, aggressive
Mm-hmm.
automatic brightness limiter, that is what will improve. But then maybe getting a heatsink G2 would solve it. But then the G2 sounds like it'll be similar in price anyway. So you're kind of like, wait, which one should I get? So we're going to have a lot of fun comparing that. But gamers, I think this will be their choice. This is why the Alienware monitor chose the QD OLED. Lower latency, 144 hertz native panel, it has a lot of benefits for gamers and the HDR and no burn-in because the biggest one, I don't want to see no burn-in, more resistant to burn-in. This is where suddenly OLED as a technology for gamers may make a difference. So, but let's see how it actually plays out in real life. I don't mind if I get burn-in because that's what I do, but a lot of you are going to invest a lot of money into this. If burn-in is a concern, you could wait, it'll come back next year. It's just for those of us who enjoy just having something fun early. First adopters, this is kind of fun times because we're not overpaying, I don't think. If you're in the market for an A90J or G2, A95K is this year's A90J. I mean, what are your thoughts on the pricing, Robert? Did it surprise you like it surprised me?
Yes, it did very much. I'm actually shocked that the prices are this low on this very beautiful emerging technology. Yeah, very happily surprised.
Oh, yeah, I am too. Believe me, right? Because I was guessing 5 to 7,000. I'm like,
Yeah,
why was I? I thought they wanted to make money, but you know
yeah,
what? If they and I can see why. Samsung Display really, this is it. This is their one trick pony. If they cannot even get people to buy it, some cash, even at a loss, is better
yeah,
than no cash at all.
yeah,
And when you're running a business, I've done the same as you sell it below cost, but you have cash, operating cash. And that's what it is. And Samsung Electronics is taking full advantage of that. They're hammering Samsung Display to sell it to them for the same price as LG's WOLED, which is insane. But anyway, for those who just joined us, pre-ordering the A95K, does it cost anything, Robert, to pre-order with you?
no, it's no charge or no obligation either. We're
And the release
obligated to the customers, but they're not obligated to us.
Right. And the release date is around April 14.
Yes.
Robert only has 165-inch allocated to him. And on the 55-inch, how many do you have?
And by the way, these are the numbers I'm hoping for.
Oh, you're hoping for it.
And they
Yeah,
do
depending on, right.
60 of the 55s.
How many for the 55?
60,
Oh,
60.
60. So I'm glad you have a lot of the hundreds because at this price, the 100 will go first, I
I
believe.
think so too.
So basically, less than 200 altogether, and that's at best. It could just trickle in.
Yeah.
And that's something that you guys have to think about. Best Buy obviously may have more, but it's something to think about. If Best Buy runs out faster because they have a larger audience, don't forget to give Robert a call. He will match everything. And
Yeah.
most importantly, he may have a special package to go with it, which
Ready whenever you are, but
all right, so
there's some
let's
super
take
chat
a
if you
couple
want.
of let's take a couple of super chats,
Yeah.
and then we'll jump into any specials you may have for our viewers. Hey, Samaya Gael, you're back. You came by yesterday, you came by today. Thank you for that super chat. If QD-OLED is getting near WRGB OLED prices, is there a reason to choose WRGB OLED aside from stock and size? So this year's best WRGB in the USA is the G2. It has a heatsink. Now, I believe it is thinner because
Mhm.
LG is so good at what it does now. They've taken AI, they replaced hard wires with AI in order to monitor your
Yes.
monitor your OLED usage so you don't get burned in. But by doing that, it allows them to make it even thinner. If
Yes.
you need to hang it on a wall to make it look like a picture frame without any thickness at all, you cannot do better than the G2. It has a special mount. It's designed to look beautiful, and it comes in a 100-inch size and an 83-inch size and a 77-inch size. So if you need those three sizes, you can't go QD OLED. If you need something that sticks on your wall and just, wow, it's a painting, you can't beat the Gallery series for the
Mhm.
G2. And as far as picture quality on a 55 to 65, in theory, the QD OLED will be better, but then the G2 has gaming features that Sony is not even trying to be. They're just trying to get by with the VRR. And it's still two of the high bandwidth 2.1 ports, right, Robert? So the G2 has four. If you need
Right.
four, you got the G2. The
That's right.
Sony has two. We know that the G2 will be working Dolby Vision gaming out of the box. Sony is still trying to get VRR out of the box to work. So it's definitely your needs in terms of features. But if it's just image quality, you need to know what is your use case, Samuel. Do you watch a lot of HDR high quality content? Then I think QD OLED will do better. If you watch a lot of SDR cable over the air, you're not going to see the benefits, and you might as well just get a G1 even.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Hey, Jessica, thanks for the super chat. FOMO, do you think the A95K dimmed down brightness like WRGB in game mode? The answer is no. It doesn't need to because burn-in is less of a concern. Actually, that's the number one comment from Flat Panels HD. They said, wow, when they put up in comparisons, everything kind of dimmed down except for the
Right.
A95K. Now, whether that was an algorithm error, maybe it should be dimming down, and it didn't, remains to be seen. But he's like, yeah, it stayed bright the entire time he was there. He has never seen OLED do that. And so the answer is probably no. And the Sony has a heatsink. So when you combine 4 layers of blue plus a heatsink, this probably means that it won't have the same aggressive ABL in theory. And that's what Samsung's telling everyone as well. So do you think ABL will be less? Yes. So if you need ABL to be less aggressive, why don't you watch the reviews? Or you want to jump in early, give Robert a call. But you're in England, so maybe not. Or you're in Europe, so maybe not, right? So, all right, Robert. Now we're going to go to the special that Robert may have in store for us. And okay, Robert, if people are pre-ordering with you for an April release, what is it you would like to give them?
If you heard us today, or if you're a member or a patron or just a viewer of FOMO's channel, please say that when you place your reservation, and you will get an extra 10% in a store credit to be used towards any Sony products that you like. Buy the HTA9, buy this new articulating wall mount that they have, buy beautiful Sony Bluetooth headphones that match so nicely with this TV, and use that store credit how you would like it. And we will ship everything together, free shipping nationwide, and you'll get a 10%. So if you would have $400 at IOU, if you wanted to get the 65-inch A95 and you're from
Right.
FOMO's channel.
And you also carry all the sound bars from Sony, the
Yes,
high-end ones, the A7000 and the
yes,
HTA9. So I'd highly recommend if you saw my review. I love it.
it's
It
fun.
is for immersion, it's perfect, right? It's
Yeah,
a way better than what comes out of the TV. So you might as well throw that in if
yeah.
that's something you're looking at. But yeah, thank you so much, Robert. I love having you on.
Right.
It's like,
So we
hey,
take the $400 right off the price of the HTA9, if that's what you wanted to use.
essentially right.
Or we have beautiful Sony Bluetooth headphones that are on sale for $400 that are normally $600, and
And
some
those are
really
pretty good.
nice
Right.
pairing as well.
Hey, will you be carrying that new Sony $1,500 or $3,000 digital player that came out? I'm like, wow, it's actually solid gold for 3,000. They're really taking their premium to the next level. Like, oh, they
Yeah,
must be selling this to Saudi princes. I love it.
yeah.
Hey, my classmate, thanks for the super chat. Pick one. Sony Z9 sorry. Pick one, Robert, the Sony Z9K 85-inch
Mm,
or the A90J 83-inch.
mm,
Most content will be in HDR. Which one will be more impressive in your opinion, Robert?
mm. Boy, that is a tough question, by the way, and a very
Mhm,
good and popular question. I don't know. I'm guessing that I still would want the OLED in a low ambient light environment because of the
mhm,
pure blacks, and you don't need the high peak lumens that the Z9K will do. So I'm guessing if your ambient light is low, especially nighttime for everybody, that we still would want to have an OLED display.
right. And
Um,
to give
oh,
context to that, if you guys caught our review of the 100-inch TVs yesterday, both Robert and D Ness were saying, look, there's only so much brightness you're going to handle before you just ruin your eyes, right?
you're
The
kidding.
Z9K is capable of super brightness because it assumes if you put it in a bright room where low black levels are irrelevant, right? It's washed out. I mean, the blacks all look black anyway, even if it's lifted. The Z9K would be the place to go because your eyes, your irises are already shut because the room is bright.
That's
And if the
right.
TV gets brighter, you're okay. In a dim room, you do not want your TV to be blasting its APL at you. So definitely, my classmates, share with us your use case. If it's in a dim room,
Right.
A90J OLED or any OLED for that matter. If it's in a brighter room with lots of windows all around you, you got to go with the Z9K because it can fight the light and it has anti-glare. It's there to make. And is it? It's a. Is it? Do you know if it's a matte this year? The Sony Z9K, because I know the Z9 last year was a matte to make
Yeah.
sure you didn't have the glare.
I think it has a little bit more of a semi gloss, a little glossier, because they did want to get the blacks to be improved and the image
Right.
a little
Better
sharper.
contrast.
So it's not
Absolutely.
as glossy as the A90J. You brought up the best point. The way to determine what's the right TV is your use case. So we need to see a picture of the room to
Yeah.
know how to advise you properly.
Hey, Robert, you've been in the industry for a while. You've been there when plasma was a thing.
Yes.
Thank you for the super chat, Mankai. Robert, why can't OLED match plasma for motion handling? And this is why a lot of people hold on to their plasma. They have that natural Cinemotion 24p. Can't OLED be impulse display instead of sample and hold? That is the technical reason why it's too fast.
Right.
I'm clinging to my 151. You sold me. Oh, that's awesome. So here we have one of the Robert's older clients from way back
Yeah.
when.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you've been in the industry, Robert. Has Panasonic shared with you why they can't do this, or Sony? What's the
Yeah.
deal with sample and hold?
Yeah. I don't know why exactly it can't happen, but the pulse width modulation on a plasma was able to render 600 hertz, and the motion is the best on a plasma. Period. A second best would be OLED versus any LCD or mini LED. That would be second best. But there still is the question, and you are correct, about judder when you're on some 24p content. But it's very minimal, and motion resolution, not judder, is better on an OLED than
Yes.
it is. So if you're watching sports, an OLED is going to do better because that's coming through at 30 or 60 because it's shot on video.
So I think you bring up a good point in that for 60 hertz or 60 hertz and converting 24 to 60, it worked
Yes,
perfect because that's what it was designed for.
it's correct.
I don't think they ever envisioned 120
I know.
native, which is what OLED's designed for. But then now you have the other issue. So sample and hold is perfect for 120 or higher. And now you're kind of like, oh man, what? These are new issues they never thought of.
Yeah.
So yeah, hey, if you can figure it out, give Sony a call. I'm sure they'll give you a pretty penny for that. Thank you, Patrick, for that super chat. Hi, I am so tired of my noisy projector. How is the fan noise on the different display technologies, especially on the larger models? Thank you. So all I know is heatsink has no fan, but you know a lot of our projectors. You carry the 15,000, 25,000 best
Sure.
of the best from Sony and JVC. Can you kind of discuss fan noise and alternate approaches to the heat that requires a fan?
Yeah. I don't hear any fan noise from televisions, and they do have fans,
Okay.
but I don't hear any fan noise, including the 100-inch and the 98-inch Sony and Samsung. I don't hear any fan noise from either of them. I don't hear any fan noise from the 83-inch A90J. The heat dissipation it's designed on Sony to dissipate the heat from the front of the panel because they feel that if you're going to wall mount the TV and surface mount it on a wall, the heat won't escape. So the front of the panel gets a little bit warm, not as hot as a plasma, but a little bit warm by design because it's flowing the heat out of there. So that's the best I can answer that, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we don't know what projector he has. If he has a professional projector made to put out 5,000 lumens, I
They're
am
going to be
sure there's
noisy.
going to be some noise,
Yeah.
right?
Also, if you put it on low lamp, it'll be quieter.
Right. Eco mode, right? But then suddenly it's dim. So you can't have everything. Hey, Ronnie, thanks for the super chat. How much are these new QD OLED TVs? So we are not, well, not we, Robert is not allowed to confirm or deny, but we will share with you the theory behind why this is out there. And thanks again for that super chat. We believe it is 3,000 to 4,000, and we believe this pretty strongly because on Sony's own website, they've already leaked that if you buy the 55-inch, they'll give you 3,000 rewards points. If you buy the 65-inch, they give you 4,000 reward points, and that applies to all of their 2022 models, right? They're putting out all the reward points, and if you look at the history of Sony, it's a 1-to-1 match. Every dollar gets you one reward point. They have never strayed from that. So being as it may, accounting doesn't like change. We believe this is going to hold true. I would be shocked if it changes. But hey, if it does, it does. Robert cannot confirm or deny. Sony refuses to talk about it. Take it as you will. But I do believe this is pretty close, if not the launch price. Now, street prices is another matter. And if you just joined us, Robert is also offering a 10% credit to buy more stuff if you pre-order. Pre-ordering is free. He only has 165-inch, assuming he even gets that many, but that's the best he'll get. 60 on the 55-inch. That's not a lot. So do what you need to do to check out. But if you really can't afford a A90J, you missed the A90J last year, it's being replaced this year. Apparently, you get a huge upgrade to all new technology with the A95K. I think the pricing is completely consistent with what we would expect from a Master Series, right? I mean, this is not a surprise. I'm surprised how low it is, but for a Master Series, this would be what the next generation should be in terms of pricing if it wasn't that much of a jump in next-gen technology. So here we have another super chat. Thanks, Enrique. Off topic, but A80K or X95K? That's a good question. So A80K is the OLED, the old school OLED for 2022. It comes in all sizes up to 77-inch, right? Right, Robert? Like
Yes.
55, 65, 77.
Yes.
And does it come in anything smaller? The A80K? It starts at 55. Okay, so 55.
The A90K for the 42.
Right, there you go. or the X95K. This is their next gen
Good question.
mini LED with full array local dimming. More of it. It's their backlight master drive, and the price is also leaked for that at around 2,800 for the 65
Right.
inch, 3,800 for the 75 inch,
Right.
which puts it pretty much very close
Yeah.
to the A80K. Robert, what would you choose?
Boy, this is a real tough one because I'm very excited about the X95K. It's a new mini LED that is much brighter and has better backlight control. And thanks to Sony's backlight master drive that they're also putting in it, and this new processor retuned. But the A80K also is an upgrade from the A80J with this slightly upgraded processor and retuned processor. The new panels from LG Display are more electrically efficient and brighter. So they're going to draw less current and they're going to come out of the box brighter without a heatsink. So the A80K, I'm very optimistic about as well. But that X95K is calling me. It really is. That really is a big upgrade this year with the backlight, this new backlight master drive,
Yes.
this new mini LED that's different than all the mini LEDs we've seen before, this new retuned XR processor. I'm pretty excited about the X95K.
I am so well. Sharing your excitement, just so you all know, I am also on the pre-order list for the
Yes, you are.
X95K as well. I need to compare it to my QN90A.
I
I need
know.
to compare it to my X95J so you guys can see what the improvements are. And then we need to compare it to the A95K. So you guys are going to get a huge swath of use cases for the 2022 TVs because no TV is perfect. There's always a use case that makes it the better TV for you, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I'm so excited about all
And
of
just
that.
to summarize that, so the A80K has some very nice upgrades. The X95K has very significant upgrades
Yeah.
from the X95J, much bigger in upgrade class.
Great question, Asaf. So just quickly, if you go to Sony's website, check out any models you want, look at their rewards points. That
Yes,
translates to what I believe is the MSRP, as they've
yes.
done every year. And the release date, Robert has shared. Now, for the X95K, is it also going to be April 14 for all their sizes as well, or it's only the A95K releasing in April?
Got to go back to my little,
Oh, yeah. Take your time. Let me check out. I know I may have missed the super chat. I want to
yeah,
make sure I catch it all.
X95K. Oops, sorry, it's slipping away. X95K. Okay. And that'll go down to a 65 inch up to an 85.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Okay, in a 65 inch and a 75 inch, it's the week of April 14th.
Oh, nice. All right.
The 85 inch is going to come a little bit late. 95 inch, 85,
95? 85.
85.
I was going to say 95. You're going to have a stampede of people go, what?
Yeah, 85 inch X95K is going to be the following week.
Yes.
Very good.
So it's
That's
pretty
pretty
close.
quick,
Late,
also.
late
That's pretty
spring.
quick.
Here's a great question. Thanks, Antidote. What TV would be competing with a G2 77 inch? It's the only TV with a heatsink in this size this year. Yeah, he's right.
From
So,
LG, it's the only one with a heat sink.
but anyone else? Oh, 77 inch size. So at the 77
Oh,
inch
I see.
size,
Right.
right?
That's true.
Not in the USA. I believe Panasonic announced a 77
Right.
inch size, right?
They have.
So if you're living outside the USA, you got Panasonic. But in the USA, correct. And this year and last year, there still is no other 77 inch with a heatsink other than this year's G2.
Yeah.
So yeah, they have this market to themselves. They could go crazy with that for sure.
Yes. In that class, that is likely the best. If you want the best, that might be. I think that's a very good post.
Oh
That
yeah.
would likely be the best TV choice if price is no object and you want the best television.
Yeah, and for many people asking, why do I need a heatsink with 77 inch? If you game in HDR, you don't like auto brightness limiter, you want to maintain that high APL throughout your games without dimming. You had issues with an earlier OLED that kept on dimming, you hated it. That heatsink fixes that. Specifically on the G2 for gamers, you're not going to have ABL because of that heatsink.
Yeah.
They're very cognizant of why they did that, and it allows them to do it without risking burning any worse. Oh, hey, we go. Classy has a great question for you, Robert. Hey, Robert, And if you don't know, Classy is a certified ISF
Yeah,
calibrator. Congratulations.
congratulations.
And
Yes.
today is his birthday, so he
Oh,
definitely
that's
gets
great.
this chat up. Hey, Robert, do you know yet if the G2 83-inch will launch with the smaller sizes or later? So let's start with the G2. Do you have the launch dates of the G2 or you have
I
guesses?
don't, but I expect it to be early April.
Okay. And also, is Samsung likely to launch in March again? Do you have launch dates for Samsung's 2022
I'm
model?
sorry, I do not. I just don't know.
Normally, when do they launch? Because they're pretty,
Yeah.
of all of them, they're pretty solid. Is it March
Yes.
when they launch normally?
End of March.
End
Yes.
of March. Okay, so if Samsung's amazing logistics skills hold this year as they've done every year despite the pandemic, we expect a March launch for most of their, well, at least their flagship 4K, right? So
Yeah.
but we'll see. Sony definitely is on the ball this year. I think they did not like releasing so late last year. It screwed up everything for them. Not this year. So let's hope that we see these TVs. Well, these TVs hopefully will be at the shootout as well. Oh,
Yes.
are you able to announce anything about this year's shootout yet? Dates or anything yet, Robert? Or do you
Um,
want to hold off on that?
I got a meeting coming up. Let's hope I didn't miss it.
Oh no! Yeah, let me know if you need to go because we've had you for
Okay.
almost an hour now.
Yeah. Uh, let's see. I have a meeting coming up on that. Yeah, I missed it.
Oh
Okay.
no! Okay, Robert, I'm so
We're
sorry.
looking at July 10th and 11th.
July 10th or less. So
Not
it's
confirmed at this
somewhat.
moment, though.
Okay. The important part is everyone, we're going to see the QD-OLED at the shootout, which
Yes.
we did not expect. I thought it was a late year launch. So
Yes.
G2 versus A90J versus QD-OLED. That's going to be amazing. Now, we're going to wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. Robert, I can tell you have a busy day. We stole
Right.
you from your appointments. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. If you have any questions or any super chats for Robert, let us know and we'll start answering wherever we can. Let's see. This one, I believe, if you're asking about Sony MediaTek, it appears to be the same one from 2021 with all of its limitations. So take it as you will. That's the rumor. It's still only two of the high bandwidth ports. And
Yeah, but I think it is the new MediaTek chip.
is it?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, so if you can confirm that with your engineer as
Yeah.
well, because there's conflict in reports. If it's the new one, then we expect some good VRR stuff. So if they can
Yes.
share with you whether it's the new or old one, that would be great. Because we see only two ports, so the assumption that it's the old one.
Yeah. No, I don't think so.
All
I think it is the
right.
new one. Right.
Yeah.
And the Z9K will have three HDMI 2.1 ports.
Yes. So the Z9K will have through HDMI 2.1, and you're waiting for a final confirmation whether it will do native 8K processing so
Right.
that it's, which
Right.
it didn't have before. So
Right.
we'll make
And
sure we
in
update that.
particular, of the three, there's one that's called out just specifically for 8K. So that's making me feel optimistic about that.
Right. And class is dropping by to
Good.
maybe check out your store on the 22nd
Good.
and walk away with a few goodies.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you everyone for showing up. Robert, it's been awesome. And
Always a
if you
pleasure.
guys have any questions, a final shout out about the details relating to the A95K. If you came here to find out a pre-order, first of all, Robert's taking pre-orders. He's not charging for the pre-orders. Get on the allocation list, and the allocation list limits you to whatever's available. His
Yes.
stock is going to be for the first allocation at best 165-inch size, 60 and the 55-inch size. As you guys know, that's not a lot given that he serves nationwide. So keep that in mind. The prices, he cannot confirm or deny, but if you look at the points on Sony, they are $3,000 and $4,000 respectively for the 55-inch and the 65-inch. And I don't think I missed anything, guys. If you have any questions about the actual technology, ask me on the chats or wherever you want, and we'll address them as the rollout continues into the year. So I think this is such an amazing year for just everything from Sony. I thought Sony last year killed it.
Yeah.
They killed it even more this year
That's right.
by beating Samsung at their own game, getting access to a technology developed by Samsung. And lastly, let's do this super chat before we run. How much would pay-per-view be for Robert to feed his humble pie? Well, we don't want to do this right now. But as we know, thank you for the super chat. We have loyal viewers. We all have fun. At the end, just remember, This is for entertainment purposes only, right?
That's
So,
right.
Robert, thanks again for coming by, and happy birthday, Classy. Happy Valentine's Day to
Yes.
everyone. If you have any questions for Robert, he'll be coming on regularly as more and more information comes out. 2022 LGs, 2022 Samsungs, and of course the 2022 Sonys. So until next time, everyone, stop the FOMO.